In just 1 year, an upcoming Star Wars movie is going to break one of George Lucas' rules that the franchise has followed for 49 years. Since Disney purchased Lucasfilm in 2012, the company has mostly tried to stay true to George Lucas' vision while also breaking new ground. There have certainly been changes, from turning the Star Wars expanded universe into Legends and various retcons, but for the most part, Disney has respected Lucas' wishes. Most of the rules George Lucas made for Star Wars weren't explicitly stated, and most of them have been followed religiously. Every Star Wars movie, even those produced by Disney, focuses on the fight between good and evil, and all of them end on a hopeful note in some way. All of them are family-friendly, all of them blend the fantasy, sci-fi, western, and samurai genres, and all of them are uniquely Star Wars. None of those rules are being affected, but Disney is set to break another, arguably more groundbreaking, rule of Lucas. Now, however, an upcoming Star Wars movie, Star Wars: Starfighter, is poised to break the biggest rule George Lucas ever had for the franchise. Starfighter is slated to premiere in theaters on May 28, 2027, almost exactly 50 years after Star Wars began in 1977. Despite the anniversary, however, Starfighter is changing a massive aspect of Star Wars that Lucas baked into the franchise: the focus on the Skywalker family. George Lucas made sure Star Wars revolved around the Skywalker family. George Lucas has always made sure, since the very beginning, Star Wars has always been a story about and centered around family. While the idea of Darth Vader being Luke's father and Leia being his twin sister weren't present in the original film, even A New Hope has a heavy emphasis on family through Obi-Wan knowing Luke's father, through Owen and Beru Lars, and even through the found family that Luke, Han, Leia, and Chewbacca form. The rest of George Lucas movies put the focus on family even more overtly. The Empire Strikes Back obviously has the reveal that Darth Vader is really Anakin Skywalker, Return of the Jedi focuses on that father-son relationship and the reveal that Leia is Luke's sister, and the entire prequel trilogy chronicles Anakin's early life, his brother-like relationship with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and his love for Padme Amidala. Lucas films are often referred to as the Skywalker Saga precisely because they're about the Skywalker family. At its very core, George Lucas was always telling a story about family first and foremost. It was the love he felt for his wife that caused Anakin to fall to the dark side, and it was the love he felt for his father that caused Luke to stay his hand. Family, above everything else, has defined Star Wars, and the Skywalker family has always been the one to convey that message. Disney, for its part, has tried to uphold that focus on family. While Rey isn't a direct descendant of Anakin, she has a father-daughter relationship with Luke, a mother-daughter relationship with Leia, and the rise of Skywalker ends with her accepting the Skywalker family name. Even Disney's spin-off films, Solo and Rogue One, tie directly into the events of the original trilogy and the Skywalker saga at large. Disney's next Star Wars film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, also has distinct ties to the Skywalker family despite not focusing on any Jedi or Sith. Din Djarin met both Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian, and Grogu was very nearly trained by Luke as a Jedi. More than that, Din and Grogu's mission in the film is to hunt down Imperial remnants, a direct continuation of the ending of Return of the Jedi. The only time Star Wars has drifted away from the Skywalker saga have been on the small screen. The Acolyte, for example, takes place over 100 years before Anakin's birth. Skeleton Crew, as well, doesn't have direct ties to any Skywalker, though there are mentions of Luke. As far as feature films go, however, Disney has done a good job of continuing George Lucas' focus on family and the Skywalkers in Star Wars. Star Wars: Starfighter is the first truly standalone Star Wars movie. Star Wars was always about the Skywalkers both when George Lucas had control of the franchise and for years after, but Starfighter isn't. As far as we know so far, Star Wars: Starfighter isn't connected to the Skywalker saga at all. There aren't many confirmed details about the movie so far, as it's still over a year away, but the information Lucasfilm has given fans about the movie makes it seem very distinct from the Skywalker saga. Starfighter is set to take place years after the events of the rise of Skywalker in the Star Wars timeline, meaning it won't have a direct tie to the Empire, the Republic, and possibly any of the Skywalkers. Rey is the only surviving Skywalker by the time the movie takes place, and she'll presumably be busy rebuilding the Jedi for her upcoming film, New Jedi Order. The other Skywalkers, additionally, are all dead as of the events of the rise of Skywalker. It also seems that Shawn Levy, the director of Starfighter, went out of his way to avoid the Skywalker saga entirely. Starfighter has been advertised as a standalone adventure that features all new original characters. Ryan Gosling's character, for example, seems to be a pilot not previously seen in any other Star Wars story. The only family-related concept in the movie, so far, seems to be Flynn Gray's character, who will presumably create a found family with Gosling's character akin to Din Djarin and Grogu. Everything we know about Starfighter so far points to it being completely separate from the Skywalker saga and a truly standalone story. George Lucas wanted everything to tie back into the Skywalker family in some way, and Starfighter is the first movie to eschew that rule completely. Whether that's a winning strategy or not remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Star Wars, Starfighter will change the franchise forever.